Welcome to our Capital Recovery Center, where we focus on two key concepts. How can we help you with your recovery today? And what does recovery mean to you? Tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. to our coffee and conversation meeting and Thursdays at 1 p.m. to our All Recovery meeting. For updated information, follow our Capital Recovery Center Facebook page.
Hello, welcome everyone to our All Recovery meeting. My name is Karen and I'm one of your recovery coaches.
And hey, welcome everyone. My name is Craig. I'm also one of your recovery coaches for our All Recovery meeting here at Capital Recovery Center. All right.
All right, well, Mike is not here with us today, but the show must go on. So.
Absolutely.
Recovery on Wheels will be out next Monday at the Bridgeton Police Department. I'm sorry, Tuesday. Monday we are not going to be here.
Yep.
Tuesday, February 22nd at the Bridgeton Police Department. And then again on Wednesday, on the 23rd in the Upper Deerfield Franco's Market.
All right. So that does it on that report. So what we've been doing for the last, I believe, two weeks or so, don't, charge it to my head, not my heart. I don't know exactly, but we've been working on this lovely pamphlet, which is called 8 Dimensions of Wellness. And so far we have covered emotional, environmental, what else we got over here?
Occupation, what is it? Oh, financial,
intellectual. Now we on occupational. And on Tuesday, we went over some of this occupational material, and we found something that says, finding employment and recovery from addiction, a step-by-step guide. And this article has been very helpful. We started on Tuesday. And if you go back and revisit our coffee and conversation, social media.
I believe Mike has a playlist.
He has a playlist,
dedicated to these 8 dimensions of wellness.
And so we covered 1 to 3 so far in this article, the step-by-step. And the first step was, let me get it right, strengthening your resume. And the second step was look to your existing network. And the third was take advantage of job searching resources and assistance. And so on today, we're going to finish off, Karen and I. And so I will, we're going to do some reading. We're going to do a little chit chat. And so if you want to reach out to us, I believe the number will be scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Voila, there it goes. And reach out to us. So the fourth step is check in with yourself often. All right. Let me read that again. Check in with yourself often. And the article says searching for employment can be a stressful process, even for people who aren't in early recovery from drug addictions. And I believe that is so true, because it is nerve-wracking when you're going in front of someone and you have to be up to par. You have to be professional. You have to present yourself well. And if you don't have certain skills, it can be very nerve-wracking for anyone. Okay? Updating your resume. All right? Preparing for interviews and returning to work can feel like a lot. During this time, it's important to check in with yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so you will have to, when it comes to physically, you will have to make sure you get a lot of rest. Make sure you mentally, make sure you have some relaxation, you're clear-headed, clear-minded, you're focused emotionally. Make sure you don't drink a lot of caffeine, because a lot of times caffeine can cause us to have our emotions going everywhere. And so these are a few tips I just want to share on as far as this. It says, ask yourself, how is my stress level right now? Good question. Do I need to take a break for my mental health? Am I taking advantage of resources available to me? Am I practicing too much pressure on myself to do this alone? And so I like the third one. I want to touch on, am I taking advantage of resources available to me? And so that can be a host of things or linkages to job sites, internet. But one thing I want to touch on is that most of the time, what I've learned over the years is that research the company. Find out what the company does, because you may get that question, what do you know about the company? And so if you haven't did your homework, you might be in there muttering, uttering, stuttering, and fumbling over things. So that's a little tip for someone. Stress is a common trigger among people in recovery from addiction and those who struggle with anxiety, depression, and other mental health disorders. Checking in with yourself regularly can help alleviate unnecessary stress and increase your own self-awareness of where you are emotionally and mentally. So do a self-evaluation, talk to people, try to be as calm as possible. And that ain't an easy thing. Asking after your own well-being is a supportive strategy for addiction recovery. It says, as is attending to your personal needs. All right. And so make sure everything's, check off the boxes, write a list. Do I have my clothes ready? Do I know what I'm going to say? Is my resume? Sometimes we have to pre-read our resumes. I remember I was in school, I believe I was telling Karen and Mike that I would submit my paper to my English professor, and they would give me the paper before they would give me a grade, and they have all these markings on it. And the professor, she was so nice. She said, I suggest that you proofread your paperwork before submitting. And once I start going over my material, I was able to have less marking on my page. I got a better grade.
Great improvement.
Great improvement. Yeah.
So the next one is common challenges of finding employment in early recovery. Taking strides to re-enter the workforce after a stay in drug and alcohol rehab is not always easy. Substance abuse can radically change a person's appearance, their motivations, and their general outlook on life. This is something that may be explored in counseling, but can still be difficult to grapple with in early recovery. Depending on a person's health in early recovery, adults might face both mental and physical challenges in their initial searches for employment. Adults may also face institutional barriers. Common challenges faced by people searching for employment in early recovery include stigma surrounding addiction, concerns about discrimination, gaps in employment history, having a criminal record, lack of positive references, identifying what you're looking for in employment, access to transportation, and balancing your job search employment with ongoing treatment.
And that is so important. A lot of people, especially with our targeted population, and when I say targeted population, that is a general term that we like to use when we're talking about those who are in recovery and those who are re-entering society from previous incarceration. That our population that we deal with, they're faced with so many barriers. And so a lot of guys, they have this tendency to stress or have lack of confidence. I want to say lack of confidence when it comes to re-entering back into society, or early recovery from a rehab. They believe that no one will give them a chance, no one will hire them. And some of them don't even know, some people may be struggling with writing or preparing a resume. And that can be, especially when it comes to computers. Here at Capital Recovery Center, we have all types of computers available. We have staff here that can assist with that. If you're struggling with preparing a template and you don't know what to write, or you may have probably broke some barriers or broke some relationships, whereas you don't have references. And so we like to help you with that because, listen, me myself, I went through the same thing. I think I was more fortunate because prior to me re-entering back into society, I had some people along the way as I was gradually preparing to re-enter back in society, whereas I had to learn, I didn't know how to work on the computer. I'm an old guy, don't hurt me, but I'm an older guy, and so I had to learn computer, Karen. She's much younger, and so, younger people, they grow up in school, they learn about computers, but back in my day, we didn't have computers. We had typewriters. We had the old fingers. But anyway, I had this lady, she helped me with a resume. She told me, she said, if you don't have nothing due to your gap, what it says here, gaps in employment history, utilize what you have previously done prior to being re-entered into society. Or as we read the article, when you're in rehab, some of the things that you have learned as far as communication skills, being able to be a sociable butterfly. I want to say that. That's for maybe the young ladies who may be watching. All right. So that's enough of me talking about that. You want to read some more, Karen, or you want me to?
You can go ahead.
All right. It says, according to the Legal Action Center, nearly 75% of formerly incarcerated individuals in the United States are unemployed a year post-release due to statement related to their criminal record. And that I believe that is profound, because after people are released and they get become employed, there is a process, whereas they say we have to do a criminal background. And so what you normally do is they allow you to work until some jobs, most jobs anyway, they allow you to work until your criminal background come back. And let me share a story before I go on, Karen. I remember this guy. He's a nice young man. He's younger than me. I'm just calling him young man. And he gave me an opportunity, Karen. He says, well, just fill out an application and I'll put in a good word for you. And I was just fresh from re-entering back in society. And I had took some interviewing skills, and they said, when you doing an application, don't leave nothing out, because they call that you are leaving out, you are not being truthful or rightfully forthcoming with some of your information. And so what I did, I left a part out. Long story short, I did the interview. The guy gave me a nice reference. I remember this clear as day. I'm at the college, I'm doing some homework, I get a phone call. And the lady called me, she says, yeah, we did your application, it's fine, but your background came back and there was something that you left out. And I said, well, man, I was saving that so that if I do get a job, I can explain to you why I left that out. She said, well, unfortunately, to us, that's like not being forthcoming and you're not being truthful. And so I'm sorry we had to deny you the job opportunity. That's one job opportunity I said, I'll never allow that to happen again. And so if that's the word to the wise, for anybody out there, if you ever go through that and they ask you about your criminal background, please be forthcoming, tell the truth, and let the chips lay where they lay. All right? All right. It said many organizations like the Legal Action Center work to break down institutional barriers that can make securing employment more difficult for people with a criminal record. Even among people without a criminal record, however, personal insecurities and stigma can be challenging to overcome. Looking within yourself and seeking support from a professional counselor, loved ones, and job assistant professionals can help you determine your next step forward. And so I gave you that little tidbit so that if you're struggling or you have a doubt or how to approach a given situation for employment, please reach out to us at Capital Recovery Center. And so I'm a recovery coach, Karen is a recovery coach, and we're here to assist you, and hopefully we will lead you in the right direction. That's our goal, to empower you with some good information. And so we're all not perfect, so we learn from our mistakes. Don't be like me, be better than me. All right, you want to read that a little bit? I'll give you some more.
Which one?
Considering.
Oh, yes. Considerations for seeking employment in early recovery. There are several reasons why a person might choose to seek out new employment in early recovery from addiction. These reasons may be financial or personal. Not everyone begins the job searching process with the same motivations or goals.
All right. So let's talk about it. It says making major life changes. All right. Give me a moment to turn this page because I stapled them all together. One common recommendation for people in early sobriety is to refrain from making any major life changes in the first year. I heard that, and I didn't know it. I know as far as, okay, let me read some more. This may refer to changes in relationship status, moving, or beginning a new job. I heard the aspect of don't get into a relationship after your first year of sobriety, but as far as moving or beginning a new job, this is very new to me. And so let's see what the articles say. Maybe we can help someone along the way. Of course, for many people, finding employment after drug rehab is not as much as an option as it is a necessity. Some people, let me read the article. I read it already, so I don't want to spill the beans. Delaying major changes, including those related to employment, is not a luxury for everyone can afford. People may need to pay bills, that is so true, settle debts. Parents and other caretakers in recovery may have dependents to take care of. And so it's not that easy for someone to take a year off unless you're fortunate. But like I said, a lot of people come and they are disenfranchised, they are less fortunate than others. And so, and like the article said, we may have to pay bills, we may have children to take care. You know, there's a host of things that where we feel that, you know, it's a necessity, you know, that I get back into the rhythm of being responsible and independent. So when I used to do reentry work, we used to have put people in transitional housing, those who came home from incarceration. We would pay for the first month rent, just like we do here for Soul Living. But we stress the point that, hey, you have to find a job because the money is not that lucrative, whereas we can continue to fund you month after month. And so we stress the point becoming independent so much so that we don't want you to get too complacent. And so we're taking the job sites, we'll give you job linkage because that is so important, because it's a necessity for you to get back on your feet. We don't want you to relapse in the process of saying, you know, ain't nobody want to hire me, I can't find work. And so we're here to support you in those aspects. If you have the option to delay a return to work, consider speaking to a counselor about whether this will be a good choice for you. For many, returning to work can offer structured distraction and a sense of purpose. Volunteering with local community organizations may offer similar benefits. Even still, searching for a job after getting out of a treatment center can be stressful. You may find yourself reckoning with former times in which your addiction have affected your relationship with bosses, co-workers, and your employment status. Let me pull over and get out, like Mike would say. He said it a different way, but anyway, this I'm gonna say it my way, Mike. But anyway, when it talks about ruining relationships or formal times with employers, I believe when I was in my substance use disorder or addiction, that I would come to work. I'm share this with you, Karen, as with Auden. I would. That's when I was smoking marijuana. I would smoke marijuana before I get on the bus. I'd take the bus. I was living in Newark. I'd go all the way up to Short Hill Mall, and I would smoke a little bit more before I get to work. Go inside, and I'm not saying this to glorify my addiction. I'm saying this to help someone to avoid the path that I went. And so I'll be working, and I got into it with my manager, and I couldn't have been no more than 19 or 20. I was really, really young at the time, and I look back over that incident, and I say, wow, how I regret that, because I could literally see myself standing there going back on the middle of the floor. I worked in the kitchen. I worked for Bloomingdale's, the department store. They had a restaurant. So long story short, I'm standing there with the manager, and the man was so nice. He's trying to give me a break, and I'm being combative with him, and under influence of substance use. I'm high. Let me just keep it real. I'm high, and that was very immature of me at that time. So if anybody out there, try not to, if you can, go to work. Number one, use drugs. Number one, go to work. Number two, and high, stimulating or whatever, because that can cause, number one, accident, and it can ruin a lot of good relationship, because you may never know, you may need that person again.
As a reference.
As a reference, yes, that's so true. It said maybe your substance abuse previously cost you a job, and this has caused deeper insecurity about your capabilities. If you're obligated to return to work after completing a substance abuse rehab program, lean on your support network to keep you strong. Reaching out to a counselor or a recovery coach or a loved one in a time of struggle is an act of strength. Don't let the fear of what could happen hold you back. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because a lot of times, a lot of people, they have this pride issue where they feel that they don't need to ask someone, and they may see that as a sign of weakness. And so, swallow your pride. If you need help, please give us a call. And we are what we call your support network, besides any other support work that you may have established with your family or any other organization that's doing the same work that we're doing. All right. I can read some more.
Okay.
Disclosing your addiction to employers and co-workers. All right. Federal civil rights laws protect American workers from being discriminated against on the basis of having a disability. Under the American Disability Act, ADA, mental health disorders, including substance disorders, are included under these protections. Even still, having concerns about discrimination or facing judgment from people in your workplace because of your substance use history is valid. Regardless of the legality, it is possible that employers may still be prejudiced in their hiring practices. Disclosing your addiction to a potential employer or new coworker is a personal decision. Let me read that again. Disclosing your addiction to a potential employer or new coworkers is a personal decision. It is also voluntarily. However, some people may feel that it's important to their recovery to be honest about their past. This may be especially true for people applying to work within the field of mental health or substance abuse treatment. Preparing for the possibility of self-disclosure or whether you're willing to provide that information to an employer is something you can discuss with a counselor. A substance use counselor can help walk you through all the possible scenarios of what could happen and help you feel more confident in what information you do choose to share. All right? And so that is in the field that in which we are in currently and which I am in. And so I choose to share this information because the whole gist of it is to help someone, like I said again, help someone to not make the same mistakes that I made because you never know. You may not get that opportunity again. I've been blessed and fortunate that people have opened up the doors and trusted me enough to allow me to give back. And this is what I call that I took so much from the community that this is my way of giving back to the community by helping someone and along the way. And so I believe I'm not the only one who thinks like this. There are a host of others who think of the way along these lines. I hope and pray they do, but this is my conviction on that.
All right.
Right? And so the next one is be patient with yourself. Being patient with yourself and showing yourself compassion during this process is crucial. Rebuilding a life in recovery from addiction is simple. It's normal to feel insecure, scared, nervous, and unsure about how to return to employment without drugs or alcohol to fall back on if things get tough. Basically what it's saying, don't allow drugs to be a crutch. Don't allow that to hold you back. Any coping skills that you have developed in the years past, utilize those tools that you was given, and they do work. Trust me. Only thing, we just have to apply them. Remember that you made it this far. Becoming sober and maintaining your sobriety is a major accomplishment. You may find yourself in a position of having to look for a job that offers part-time hours in order to continue your treatment. Or maybe that more flexible job you have been offered pays less than you made in a previous position. You may have to work your way back up or work from an entirely new slate. It's okay. Remember, it says it's okay. Recovery is a process of progress, not perfection. I'll read the last one and then we'll get up out of here. It said, continue looking forward in your recovery. After completing an addiction rehab program at a treatment facility, it can take time to ease back into a normal routine. This may be especially true for people who are in early recovery from chronic or severe addiction. Beginning this new normal may feel awkward and overwhelming. At times, you may feel urged to return to old vices to manage feelings of depression and anxiety. This is not uncommon. Turn to your support network. I'm going to say that again. Turn to your support network, whether that be a counselor, friend, others in recovery, to ask for help if you're feeling overwhelmed. Recovery is a lifelong journey that is going to have bumps and hurdles. Don't lose sight of your goals. Take each step forward one day at a time. Ask for help. Be patient with yourself. Be proud of how far you have come and have confidence in where you're going. And that reminds me, we went over an article and we did a show before, whereas, celebrate your strengths. Don't always look to your weaknesses. Look to the strength, the strong points, or your strong suits, and that what you're good at. Once again, my name is Craig. I am one of your Capital Recovery Center recovery coaches here, and it's been a joy.
Thank you for joining us.